Sheikh Shetty, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the second video in my series, and this is the book I want to talk about today. The name of the book is Crying in Mart, and the name of the author is Michelle Zauner. So, in this particular book, this is the second week of the 54 book project. There are 5 things I wanted to share with you about this book. It's a story of a Korean American individual who is trying to navigate love, grief, her identity as an artist, her career as an artist, and also the terminal illness of her mother. And you get to learn a lot about what it means to be human through this book. But here are some of the important things I learned. The first is that food can be an important way to connect with your roots. In the book, Michelle found a way to cook a variety of different dishes from the country that her parents came from, which was South Korea. And that helped her understand her identity better. And I was able to relate to this because sometimes I do that as well to connect with my identity as a South Asian and a person from India. The second thing that I noted down here was that it's really important to create spaces where we can acknowledge our cultural identity that may comprise 2 different cultures, sort of a dual culture identity. And that is something that I thought was really interesting to see in this book and to read about in this book, how Michelle navigated that experience as a child in Oregon, and some of the things she had to go through, but also how we need to create safe spaces for in schools, hospitals, in community spaces where people can talk about what it means to be Canadian Indian or Korean American, and how that manifests itself on a day to day basis. The third thing I'd like to speak about is I was really inspired by how Michelle strived to work on her career as an artist. Her music was inspired by a lot of her personal experiences, and even this book that she wrote when she was going through a rough period in her life was also from from a very personal experience in her life. And I think when there was a point in the book where she stopped trying so hard and really just created to express from the bottom of her heart, and that's when her work started reaching so many more people. And I think that is such an important role that artists have, to be a mirror, a reflection to society and our lives in general. The fourth thing I'd like to talk about is supporting your loved ones through good and bad times, being there for them. Those are the times that they may not be the most happy or the best company, but those are the times they really need you to be around. And it's really important that you hang around at those difficult moments in your loved ones' lives. And finally, the last thing I'd like to talk about is how travel can open your eyes to new perspectives, new cultures, and new ideas. And in this book, Michelle travels to a variety of different places, both as an artist, but also to connect with her relatives from South Korea and America. And she learned something new with every single trip. I highly recommend reading this book, and you can find links to this book in the show notes below. Do stay tuned for more videos from the 54 book project.